All right, welcome back to High School Sports Talk. I am Josh Kirby. Find all my work www.kirbyonsports.com. Dan Gloster, who claimed on Friday night he is directionally challenged and can't find his way out of a paper bag, but
You're
managed to
listening.
find his way to High School Sports Talk. Dan, how are
Yeah.
you?
I've managed to find your email and log on. Yeah,
Yes, it's good to hear from you. How are you?
good man. Good.
Good. Glad to hear it. I mean, before we start touching on these games, I just have to do one thing. I just happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dan Gloucester. Happy birthday to you. Dan celebrating his 34th birthday on Friday night as
Yeah, yeah. It'd be my 22nd anniversary of my 34th birthday. Yeah.
as he broadcasts Jefferson versus James Wood on Friday night, Dan's birthday. Was there big cake or anything? Did Mike do anything special for you?
No, actually, I didn't tell Mike. I told him after the game. Just never came up, so I didn't bring it up. But that's why I was a little late getting on the podcast because we're going to enjoy some ice cream cake. That was
Oh,
what my wife and granddaughter got for me. So it was so frozen, we're having to wait for it to thaw out a little bit. So once we're off here, I'm going to go indulge and have some ice cream cake. So, but
well,
thank you for the birthday wishes, Josh.
yes. So let's get into football. Jefferson undefeated. James Wood trying to beat them, and James Wood looks like a pretty dominant team. Jaden Ashby out there, I mean, James Wood looked like a strong team, and Jefferson came out and they looked pretty dominant. And James Wood, it just didn't seem like could get anything going early.
Well, both teams couldn't get anything going early. There was no score in the first quarter.
Yeah.
It was 0-0 after one. So James Wood, they had a great chance to score. I think it was early in the second quarter or late first quarter. Ryan King had a touchdown in his hands and he could not hold on to the football. And then they tried a field goal and it got blocked. And it was kind of all Jefferson after that. So it was 10-0 at the end of the first half, and then Jefferson just kind of wore down James Wood in the second half. But we were really surprised at not many points being scored. But in the end, Jefferson, they showed why they're undefeated, and they got to play Martinsburg in a couple of weeks. And I'm not saying they're going to beat Martinsburg, but I think they could maybe give them a little bit of a game. And James Wood just couldn't really get a whole lot going on running the football, and I think that's their bread and butter is running the ball. And if they can't do that, then it's gonna be a little tougher on them. So I think Jared Neal threw 4 interceptions in that game, and it's just hard to win, especially on the road if you're having that many turnovers. But they battled them hard. I'm sure they learned a lot, but just Jefferson, just too many weapons for them, Josh. And they complete the Frederick County sweep. They beat Millbrook, Sherando, and now James Wood.
Wow. Yeah, that is incredible. I mean, besides the interceptions on James Wood's end, could you definitively pinpoint what Jefferson did to get locked down on James Wood's number and just shut them down essentially, because they only scored 14 points?
Right. I mean, to me, it was like pretty much every game. It was the line of scrimmage, and Jefferson just I won't say they dominated, but they definitely in the second half they dominated up front. That was the key to them kind of getting to where they needed to be. So yeah, the line play
Absolutely.
was the reason.
So James Wood only losing 2. Still, I feel like they have a pretty strong team, and they can make. I'm not sure who they play next week.
Walk here.
Fauquier, yes, Fauquier. That might be a very interesting matchup, for sure. But for the most part, I feel like
I'm sorry, Liberty. My bad.
Liberty. Yeah, then that might be more of an easier matchup. But
Right.
anyways, I still feel like with 2 losses, this James Wood team is still good and still pretty good on our side of the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. They've already beaten Sherando. They got Liberty. They've got James Wood. They've got Handley. So I'm trying to think. They've got one more game. Maybe it is Fauquier that they still need to play. But yeah, they've got, if they can get the ball into Jaden Ashby's hands, that's going to go a long way to helping them win some more football games. But it just wasn't their night Friday night. Just a bad matchup.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we go over to Stephen City. The Sherando Warriors defeat the Liberty Eagles 23-8, and the Warriors come back from an 0-3 start, and they are now 4-3. What a great turnaround for this Sherando Warriors team.
Oh yeah, and a testament to Jake Smith and the coaching staff, and of course the players to kind of not look at the record, just concentrate on that next week after they fell to 0-3, and they got that win at Musselman, and that seems to have kind of turned them around a little bit, and now they're on a roll. And as I mentioned before, with this age of athlete, confidence can go a long way. So they're going to be feeling pretty good about going into the Handley Bowl next Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, Sherando without their starting quarterback Dylan Rodifer, Micah Carlson, he does a pretty decent job and comes in and beats this Liberty team. I think they all around are playing complete football and limiting the mistakes where it needs to be, where they needed to correct them. And I think it's a great testament, like you said, to this coaching staff. So Sherando, once again, 23, Liberty 8. Dan, you were at the Handley Bowl earlier today, where Handley defeated Millbrook 36-18. Were there any big electric calls regarding Stephen Daly and how good he was running today?
Just not any long runs. He was almost as impressive. He had a strip sack and a teammate recovered for a touchdown. He hit Dedrick Brown, which forced an interception. He had 2 sacks, maybe even 3 sacks. So his defensive presence in that game was just as much as the offense, where he had 2 touchdowns. Not any real long touchdown runs, but I think they played a little bit better. I don't know if you know, but Dan Jones did not coach in that game.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he had to serve that suspension for being ejected in the game at Fauquier a couple of weeks ago. The school appealed it, but it was upheld, so he still had to serve that suspension. So Jimmy Gaynor, the longtime defensive coordinator, he served as the head coach. The play calling was done by Patrick Wingfield, who's the JV coach, and then Derek Dowry Sr. Also did a lot of the coaching as well, which he did when Dan Jones had to leave the Fauquier game. So and Dan Jones was able to coach the team from the 2 weeks because they had the bye week. So they were coming off their bye week. So he was able to coach the bye week and then this week coming up, but he just couldn't be on the sidelines, couldn't have any communication. So, they had that. And, all in all, they had, they made a few mistakes here and there, but all in all, just a solid performance. And still don't think the Handley starters on defense haven't given up more than a touchdown in a game all season long, because they scored a late touchdown with reserves in. Millbrook did, to make it 36-16, and then on the extra point, the kicker picked up the snap and literally just ran to the right and found a receiver, and it was able to throw it in the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what made it 18 points. You know, you're not, just because you're a good team doesn't mean you're going to blow everybody out. You know?
Yeah.
So that's just the way it is. And Millbrook's got pride, and even though they hadn't won a game yet, I felt they really competed in that game and gave it their all throughout the whole game. And they're kind of learning some tough lessons right now, but you got to think that's going to pay off down the road a little bit with some of the experience that the younger kids are getting right now in this kind of challenging situation for them.
Yeah, I would imagine that it's a learning experience with every loss, and they take away little by little, and then they use that to hopefully get a win by the end of the season.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. So Handley 36, Millbrook 18. Not much to talk about here. Clarke County over Madison County 42-6.
It was homecoming, by the way.
Yeah, homecoming, a great homecoming win for Clarke County. I don't know. Do your inside sources know any further on this game?
No.
Nope.
Other than the fact that during homecoming week, they have a tradition at Clarke County where they have a practice at 6 a.m. One day during the week, they have a practice actually at 6 a.m. So
At
they did
6
that again.
a.m.
Yeah. So they did that again. Turn the lights on at the stadium and go out and practice, and then they come in and go to school. So that's just a tradition.
Dude.
You wouldn't like that? No.
6 a.m.
Yes, man.
Millbrook's Midnight Madness is one thing, but 6 a.m.
Yeah.
My
So
God.
you got to find Casey Childs on Twitter. He was posting pictures of it. So that's their tradition.
Well, I mean, that would probably just amp you up and get you ready, nice and wide awake for school.
Yeah. So Millbrook does you said they do a Midnight Madness. Is that to start the season, I guess?
I think so. They do one practice on their field at midnight.
Yeah.
With the lights on.
Yeah.
It's like, interesting, but very interesting stuff. Dan, before we let you go, can you preview where you are at next week?
We're going to be at James Wood for the Liberty game Friday, and then Saturday we'll be at the Handley Bowl for the Sherando Handley game.
All right.
Got to think that that's going to be circled or it has been circled on Handley's schedule. I mean, you know how coaches are, Josh. It's the next game. No game means any more than another. But for these players, I mean, they haven't beaten Sherando in a long time.
If Handley beats Sherando, that's going to be pretty big.
I mean, 2019 when Handley had a really good team, they still couldn't beat Sherando.
Yep.
At Handley. So you got to think that Handley's going to be really, really amped up for that, and Sherando will be too. But and then that's also plays into the Apple Cup standings. So and I guess if Handley wins and then James Wood beats Millbrook, then it comes down to the regular season finale with Handley and Wood as to who's going to win the Apple Cup.
That would be
puts even more on that game.
That would be very interesting if it came down to James Wood versus Handley for the Apple Cup, because I know Sherando has been the longtime keeper of the Apple Cup along with Millbrook for a couple years scattered.
And James Wood has never won it. Never won it. So you
Wow.
know that they would want to win that game really bad. So
Man, that's crazy. But back in the day when I was helping Sherando football, I never noticed James Wood was never on it.
nope, not on it. And it's
That's
named after Walter Barr, of course,
yeah,
and Ron Lennon, of course. But Walter Barr, that's where he was first, first made his big strides as a head coach, James Wood. So.
absolutely. So, Dan, we'll let you get to your ice cream cake for your 37th birthday. So, well,
How did I get 3 years older? He said I was 34 at the start of the show.
you look good for your age, Dan. Just take it while you can get it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, this has been another episode of High School Sports Talk with Dan Gloster. You can catch his broadcast now on Classic Country 95.7 on iHeartRadio or the FM dial 95.7. Check out all my work, www.kirbyonsports.com, and we'll see you next week.